Well, happy Monday to you, and thanks for joining us on the 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Justin Gehrts.
And I'm meteorologist Aaron White. And of course, we all know the big story this week, the heat. It's already on this afternoon. Temperatures getting into the upper 80s. We're on our way to 90 for the first time so far, at least of this week, but it's only going to get hotter from here on out.
Yeah, it's going to be just gross and awful.
Yeah.
And I mean, to the point of actually, we joke about how nasty it's going to be out there, but it's to the point of being dangerous as the week goes on too, just because the effects in your body just keep piling up day after day.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the temperatures, especially, of course, being up into the 90s, but when we talk about the dew point temperature, the measure of that humidity getting into the 70s, we already have dew points around 70 right now, and that makes that heat index even higher, and we're likely going to see some triple-digit heat index values. Maybe even this afternoon, a couple places showing some readings near that, but only going to get hotter from here on out.
Yeah, getting pretty close to that in a lot of spots. So that's why we have a 10 weather impact alert in place from Tuesday through Friday afternoon. That's when the peak of the heat is going to be happening. So I want you to be certainly weather aware during that time frame, as the heat index those afternoons is going to be up 100 degrees or higher, usually for a few hours at a time. So what you need to do, anything to keep cool. Of course, if you can be in the shade, if you can be in air conditioning, if you can stay hydrated, do anything you can to avoid being out in that heat and humidity. Problem is, during the nighttime hours, we're still not going to get much relief because lows are still going to be in the 70s. Here's a peak heat index forecast the next few days. Most of us mid-90s for today, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, likely to be about 100 to 105 each of those afternoons. Let's take a look at our forecast highs compared to records. Now, I think most days are going to be safe, but we're going to be pretty close Wednesday and Thursday. Aiming for 97 Wednesday and Thursday. Records those days are 98. The fact that we're even close to records, though, gives you a sign of just how hot it is. Another thing, there's just a ton of mugginess, too. Those dew points are going to be hanging out near or above 70 most of the time through the weekend. So it's not just hot, it is also humid. Let's take a look at that heat risk factor coming up through the week as well. We're in the major category today as well as tomorrow, and then we go into the extreme category from Wednesday, Thursday into Friday. Essentially what that means is everybody is at risk of dealing with a heat-related illness. It's not just those who are typically susceptible. It is going to be everybody. Even into Saturday, we're kind of in that borderline major to extreme risk. Things do improve somewhat, though, by the time we get to Sunday. Now, as far as this current heat wave, I know some folks think, okay, well, it's summertime in Ohio. Look, of course it's going to be hot and humid. And yes, that is true. In fact, when we have at least 3 straight days of a high of 90 and a low of 70 or warmer, that happens most years. Nothing strange about that. However, this is longer than 3 days, and we're also looking at higher heat. As far as 3+ days of a high of 95 or warmer and a low of 75 or warmer, last time we did that was back in 1941 and only 7 times on record in Columbus. So if we can do it, it's certainly a rare situation. All right, so lighter news at least. Tonight is a full strawberry moon, and it's going to be fullest just before 8 o'clock this evening. Now, it doesn't rise here until 9:21. However, it's going to look full. It's just technically it reaches its fullest point a little bit before our moonrise. But certainly enjoy that view because we are going to have a clear sky. However, it is going to be pretty warm and humid when you do check that out. Mostly clear skies during the nighttime hours, mostly clear for your Tuesday as well, so not much as far as any shade from Mother Nature. Let's go into Wednesday. We're underneath that heat dome, and what that means for us squashes any clouds that try to develop, so I think Wednesday is going to be pretty much a completely sunny day. All right, so 91 is your high coming up for today. Then for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoons, there you see the 10 weather impact alerts each of those afternoons for those heat indices of about 100 to 105. Check out these overnight lows too. 75 Tuesday morning, 76 Wednesday morning, 76 Thursday morning, 77 Friday morning. Again, no relief in the nighttime hours, and those are going to be pushing or breaking record warm lows. We're looking at highs around 95 on Tuesday, 97 Wednesday and Thursday, 95 on Friday. Bear in mind, too, this is without any drought. Usually we only get this hot when things are really dry, and we're not that right now. So this just goes to show how powerful this ridge of heat is. Going into the holiday weekend, we watch those shower and storm chances pick up as that dome of heat begins to fall apart somewhat. It's still going to be awfully warm and humid with highs close to 90 both Saturday and Sunday, but the main thing is the fact that we're watching for some scattered shower and storm chances Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Obviously, there are a lot of activities going on for the upcoming holiday weekend, so you will want to stay weather aware, not just because of the heat, but also because of those storm chances.
Yeah.
Potential for some severe weather with that
Sure.
as well, just because we're on the edge of the heat and humidity, and that tends to provide some opportunity for severe storms.
Yeah, I feel like it just doesn't take as much to get some severe weather when we have just so much moisture around with the humidity, those hot temperatures as well. And unfortunate timing with the 4th of July weekend, but we'll be tracking it for you here as we continue on through the forecast. But as we talk about the heat and just the mugginess, it can also bring dangerous symptoms of heat stroke that you, of course, want to pay attention to as you're starting this new week. And here are some of those symptoms to heat stroke you need to know. High body temperature, altered mental state or behavior, change in sweating, nausea, vomiting, flushed skin, rapid breathing, and a high heart rate, and even a headache.
Yeah, and here are some more safety tips. Stay hydrated, of course. Take breaks in the shade. Make sure you check on your neighbors and loved ones if they don't have air conditioning. And even if they do, honestly, make sure that they're doing okay in all of this. And if you're exercising outside, do not overdo it. Keep the workout short. I've had heat exhaustion before from riding a bike.
Sure.
And it's not a good time.
No, it's not good. And it doesn't take that long. So just, of course, make sure you're paying attention and also pay attention to your four-legged friends. We talked with the Franklin County Dog Shelter about the signs you need to watch for while walking your dog.
Excessive panting and drooling, difficulty breathing, increased heart rate or respiratory rate, mild weakness, collapsing over, can go up to collapsing.
And experts at the dog shelter say take your dog out early in the morning or after dinner time when it's not as hot. If you cannot hold your hand on the pavement for more than 10 seconds, then it's also too hot for your dog's paws. Also, if your dogs allow, put booties on them or walk them in the grass, and don't leave your dogs unattended by pools.
Yeah, as we get ready for that heat to come our way, we have a staggering warning about the damage the heat and the sun can really do.
An Arizona woman fell asleep by the pool earlier this month, and she's been in the hospital ever since with life-changing burns. 82-year-old Betty Lou Summer was at a community pool on June 11th, relaxing on a chair with metal armrests when she fell asleep that day. Reached above 105 degrees in Arizona, Summer was only asleep for an hour when bystanders found her unresponsive and covered in blisters.
Wow, well, she was rushed to the hospital and went through organ failure. Summer had to be intubated. Her daughters say they didn't think she'd survive.
She basically has third-degree burns all the way on her front, her belly, her shoulder, her arms. Her pinky was on a metal chair, and it was completely degloved at the tip. And her shins and her legs and her thighs, all the way down to the muscle.
Medical experts say it's important to always wear sunscreen and protective clothing and limit your time in the sun.
Yeah, and something to think about, especially with our heat wave. We also have a lot of sunshine, so that UV index is going to be very high. And remember, as temperatures continue to climb this summer, you can help a neighbor stay safe. Join 10 TV and 97.1 The Fan and Life Care Alliance for our annual Beat the Heat Fan Drive.
You got to drop off a new box fan at any Franklin County fire station or make a donation through Life Care Alliance. Every donation helps keep someone cool. You can text the word FAN, F-A-N, to 614-460-3345 to find out how to donate. We'll send that information right to your phone, and together we can help beat the heat.
And of course, as we are talking about the heat, you can always get the latest 10 weather impact forecast straight to your phone. Download the free 10 TV app by scanning the QR code you see on your screen. And of course, visit 10tv.com. And as we move on to other impacts on the heat, are wildfires and dry conditions actually out to the west.
Yeah, high heat, strong winds, and low humidity are fueling deadly wildfires along the Colorado-Utah border. 3 federal wildland firefighters were killed and 2 injured on Saturday while trying to contain the Snyder fire. That's now burned over 2,900 acres.
In southern Utah, the Cottonwood fire has burned nearly 100,000 acres, destroying part of a ski resort, condominiums, and mountain cabins. The Iron and Cherry fires burning in the central part of the state forced many residents to evacuate over the weekend. And so far,
you didn't think it was going to move as fast as it did, but just to be ready, I started tying up loose ends and getting things ready to go. It was a good thing I did, because without any warning at all, the sheriffs ended up there and we're just telling people you got to leave now.
And so far, the iron and cherry fires have burned more than 75,000 acres combined. Firefighters made some progress against both wildfires over the weekend thanks to cooler temperatures and lower winds, but warmer conditions are expected to return this week.
And continuing with our coverage, those fires out west have, as we mentioned, sadly turned deadly for 3 firefighters.
And it's a moment to take stock of the dangerous situations our firefighters actually put themselves in and how fast things can actually change on a firefight.
The air is thick with smoke, thanks to the aggressive winds blowing across the Snyder fire, whipping the flames faster and higher, burning just south of Fruta.
That's very concerning that it's been so windy. It's like, usually that happens in May.
As it stands tonight, there's only pre-evacuations for neighbors nearby.
It's been hair-raising, and it was absolutely horrible here yesterday.
Sarah said the smoke has been the most obvious.
We literally couldn't see anything, couldn't even see those green fields right there.
But that's not what matters right now. It's these 3 sets of memorial flowers outside the interagency fire station at the Garfield County Airport that are burned into residents' minds.
The worst thing for me was at 3 a.m. when I got up to see if I saw any fire, and I read the news that the 3 firefighters had died, so that was really hard.
A procession for the fallen. 3 firefighters who gave their lives to protect ours in an incredibly dry, hot season, ripe for more fire.
I've been in western Colorado since 1977, 76, and it's the worst I've ever seen it.
Now we turn to the latest on that massive earthquake in Venezuela and the rescue efforts that continue this afternoon.
Yeah, with more of the efforts underway, Camila Montoya Galvez actually reports on the latest from Venezuela.
We saw scenes of utter devastation in hard-hit La Guaira after 2 deadly earthquakes struck Venezuela last week. In the rubble, you could see remnants of people's lives, stuffed animals, a passport, and a kindergarten graduation diploma. Tens of thousands of Venezuelans are still presumed to be missing, and the clock is ticking.
You're seeing scores of people and rescue workers from across the globe desperately looking for any signs of life.
Some even digging with their bare hands. In Caracas, outside of a hospital, we saw loved ones scouring a list of patients, looking for any missing relatives. Genesis Fonseca was there bringing soup to her 6-year-old nephew Maximiliano, who survived the quakes, while his mother did not.
What is it that you will miss the most about your sister?
Hay todo. Su cariño, el amor que nos teníamos.
Everything. The love we had for one another, she told us. Amid the tragedy, moments of hope. Like this one, a man pulled out alive by rescue teams. And an infant, trapped for days, also found alive. On Saturday, Kayla Serpa's nephew Kenger was also rescued. Serpa told us her 2 nephews and sister lived in a building that came crashing down. 11-year-old Kenger was the sole survivor. Serpa had a message for the U.S. We need more support, she says. More help. U.S. diplomat John Barrett says there are over 300 American rescuers on the ground.
We were with Venezuela before the earthquake, and we're even closer to Venezuela after the earthquake.
The pain and loss we have seen here in La Guaira is impossible to quantify. We've heard from people who've lost their homes, their children, their spouses, and their siblings. But there are still signs of hope. Just this morning, in this destroyed building behind us, volunteers heard the cries of a woman, and they're now trying to see if they can rescue her alive. Camila Montoya Galvez, CBS News, La Guaira, Venezuela.
And of course, we continue to get closer to our nation's 250th anniversary, and that means it's time for another look back at how weather has changed our history.
Meteorologist Evan Stewart from our sister station WVEC has been looking back at how weather has shaped our country. This afternoon, it's a disaster that turned farmland into a wasteland and forced millions to leave everything behind.
The Dust Bowl wasn't just a drought. It was a disaster that we helped create. In the 1930s, a severe dry spell hit the plains. But for years prior, farmers had plowed up millions of acres of native grassland to grow crops like wheat. Now, that grass once held the soil in place, so when the rain stopped, the ground dried out, the winds picked up, and massive dust storms formed, some of them towering thousands of feet high. Now, they rolled across the plains, turning day into night, and they were called black blizzards. Now, the dust buried homes, ruined crops, made people sick, and it forced a mass migration. Millions left their farms behind, many heading west to California searching for work. Families packed everything they owned into cars and started over. And now the Dust Bowl did change America in other ways. It led to new farming techniques like crop rotation and windbreaks, and the creation of programs to protect the soil. The Dust Bowl didn't just reshape the landscape, it reshaped the country.
And continuing to look back now, most Americans have heard about the Great Chicago Fire, but that same night, another fire was burning in the forests of Wisconsin.
Yeah, the meteorologist Evan Stewart takes us back to a small logging town that became the site of the deadliest wildfire in American history.
It's the deadliest wildfire in U.S. history, and one you've probably never heard of. Now, most people know about the Great Chicago Fire, but on that exact same night in 1871, an even deadlier firestorm was tearing through the forests of Wisconsin. The Peshtigo fire killed an estimated 12 to 2,500 people, making it the deadliest wildfire in American history. Peshtigo was a booming lumber town in northwestern Wisconsin, and the town was surrounded by dry forests, sawmills, and piles of logs and logging debris. Now, after months of drought, a powerful cold front blasted through on October 8, 1871, bringing strong winds and extremely dry air. Small fires were already burning in the woods, and they suddenly exploded into a massive firestorm. Survivors described walls of flame, tornado-like fire whirlwinds, and heat so intense, some people escaped into the Peshtigo River, hiding for hours. Today, we still look for the same dangerous combination during wildfire outbreaks: dry air, strong winds, and abundant fuel. A little-known disaster the same night as a more famous fire, and another example how human activity and extreme weather come together to create disasters on a massive scale.
All right, finally today, let's check out new video into 10 TV. First up, check this out. Lightning struck the iconic Eiffel Tower on Saturday evening as a thunderstorm raged into the skies over Paris. The French capital has been sweltering in scorching temperatures for days now, much like other parts of Europe.
Yeah, I mean, temperatures over there have been soaring over the 90s, even some places reaching triple-digit heat. And of course, we know around here the heat and humidity is an easy mix to create thunderstorms. And of course, tall metal objects, a favorite for some of those lightning strikes. And just, yeah, definitely wild to see that. And I know here in the U.S., the Empire State Building always gets hit by lightning. I think, I don't know exactly the number, but like over like 50 times every year.
Oh, I believe
there's some strikes on that building.
An easy target for lightning for sure.
And
finally, let's check this out in 2025. Okay.
Dunedin.
There we go. Yep. Dunedin. The Blue Jays had 24 weather delays, 6 cancellations, and 10 postponements. So they decided that if you can't beat the weather, wear it.
Yeah, might as well, right? In a bid to bring Mother Nature onto their side of the field, they are introducing these new rain delay jerseys. They will actually debut on July 18th, and Dunedin is located north of Clearwater, Florida. Definitely some cool jerseys. I kind of want to get one, actually.
It's funny because, in that part of Florida, they get those pop-up thunderstorms on the ocean breeze.
You get the sea breeze kicking in.
Every single day, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it is challenging to have baseball games there during certain parts of the season.
Yeah.
But they look pretty cool, I gotta say.
They do look cool. So, hey, not a bad idea if it gets Mother Nature on their side. Hey, it's a win-win, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, if they get some rain, at least they still got a cool jersey.
Right.
So.
They have a good sense of humor about it, I gotta say.
Sure. I mean, I feel like you have to when you get some rainstorms like that, especially down in Florida. Now, of course, we got some chances for showers and storms in our forecast Friday into the weekend. But right now, just tracking that heat.
Yeah, it is going to be sweltering out there, 90 or higher today through, well, really the entire 7-day forecast. But the hottest days look to be Wednesday and Thursday with highs around 97. And heat indices are likely to be 100 to 105 both of those days.
Yeah, and we'll be tracking it for you coming up later on this afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer is back in with the latest forecast. And until then, you can catch more news and weather online as always at 10tv.com.